Hey, welcome to Dan's Model Works, and today we are starting on, as you saw from the title card, the Colombo Express, our container ship. And I just did the review of that 2 or 3 videos ago. Video-wise, it wasn't a long time ago. I know it was all the way back in January, but it's fairly recent, so I'm not going to be giving you a real close look at the parts or anything like that. Up here, there should be a card linking you back to that video if you haven't already seen it. It's probably a mistake to be doing it here in the clutter zone. I should probably be using the big white table in the main workshop, which is over that way. But I was planning on starting this fairly soonish. This was the project that was going to happen after I finished the CP Express and Transport A train. But I wasn't going to start working on it until I had finished the pre-war arrival, the P35/P36 build. But I've run into a bit of a snag there. I'm not happy with the silver paint on those planes, and I'm not even sure if that video is going to go up before this one, or this one's going to come out first. I don't know. The thing is I've given them a nice second coat of silver, and I want that to dry nice and thoroughly before I start handling them. So it's going to be a few days where we're not doing anything, so why not start something else? So, of course, the something else is this. And I have been really looking forward to this. As well as that, I've been giving the container issue quite a bit of thought, and I have some ideas as to what I want to do, especially for the containers that are not Hapag-Lloyd, because of course they don't give you any decals for anything else. So, where are we going to be starting with this? What a surprise. We're going to be starting with the hull. Okay, I'm good with that. So, let's see if we can even work on that in this locale. Okay, yeah, we can do this here. So, yeah, I'll bring you back when I've got a few chunks of plastic stuck together. Okay, this is bringing you back a little sooner than I had planned. You can see I have a total of 2 clothespins, as I struggle to get it all on the screen here. 2 clothespins, and gosh golly, the fit is pretty darn good. I didn't remove the alignment pins because very, very often with a large kit like this, the alignment pins do not help us. The only one that may be a little bit not so good is this one here. But I just basically wanted to get it all held together, so I threw these clothespins on it. And as I said, yeah, by golly, it looks like the alignment's pretty good. I might remove this one pin right here. Otherwise, the rest of it I'm going to leave in place. Good job, Ravel. Okay, that did not involve any drama whatsoever. Didn't need any elastic bands or anything like that. Just basically the clothespin on the rear, or on the bow, and the rear, as you saw. Gonna need a little bit of light sanding just along the seam line, and you can see here, if I can get the camera to focus on it. Anyway, there's a mold line right here that should be sanded off, but otherwise this went together really well. Now at this step they would have you glue on the rudder propeller. I'm going to leave those till the very end because I can see them getting damaged while handling the ship during all the other assembly. This may have been one of the most satisfying pieces of assembly I've ever done. This piece went on here so beautifully, so amazingly. It was almost like a piece of Lego, this piece going in place. I mean, this thing is so solid now. Yeah, I like to give credit where credit is due. So the next little bit I've got to put on here, of course, is the deck here and the bow. But yeah, this went on so nicely. Now we've started on the container supports. You can see them running along here. This is where the bridge and accommodation block is going to be. And you can see how many more of these supports still have to be installed. Now, trying to get an angle here where we can see it in the light. You can see there's a slot here, and these all seem to be a different length depending on which part goes in there. So far as I can tell, it's impossible to put the wrong ones in, but I'm sure I can probably figure out how to put the wrong ones in. But as I've said earlier, fit on this kit is excellent. We're at the spray booth, and as you can see, we've got a first coat of paint on the whole ship here. This is Humbrol's Hull Red, which is probably a little more tan than I would like, but the alternative was Tamiya Hull Red, and that was definitely dark brown. So I'm fairly happy with this. I think it'll look fine once we put the black on and then we get the containers on top. It certainly looks very much like the Hull Red I see on lots of ships when I actually go watch them. As a matter of fact, I'm looking at the screen and I'm looking at the model itself, and the model itself, it does look a lot richer and redder than it is looking on the screen. So this could be an artifact of the fluorescent light in the spray booth. It's a couple days later, and I'm struggling to stay productive. Most of the time I just want to sleep because I'm a lifeless slug. But I've been jumping back and forth between the pre-war arrival build and this, trying to get like maybe half hour to an hour of work in a day. So as you can see, I've got some masking tape on here. This is going to be a little tricky because to try to mask the top area here is going to be difficult. And really the edge or the demarcation between the Hull Red and the black is literally the top corner of the deck. So, masking this was a little bit difficult. I'm about to hit it with some semi-gloss black, or maybe it's gloss black, I'm not sure. One or the other. Anyway, I'm about ready to shoot this, and pretty much I'm going to shoot in this direction. Alright. Let's take this thing off the hook and peel off the masking tape. See how we did. Okay, that's the top bit done. Now let's see about the lower area here. A lot of tape on here. Okay, as always with a long modeling subject like this, it was a little more challenging to film than you'd hope. the only area I need to do a little bit of touch up here is going to be right up there. And I deliberately had the tape kind of come up and contact there, just so that it would stabilize it all the way down the length. And I think it was worth the effort because we have a nice clean separation on both sides. I'm not going to have to do any touching up, like I said, except for just this little bit right here. And that was planned. So, yeah. Getting the hull painted was actually quite easy and fairly satisfying. Now, I think I have enough space time-wise in this episode to start work on our superstructure here. So, I think I will do just exactly that. The containers, obviously, will start. That'll be part of the next episode. But it's only about 6:45. I don't have to go to bed for another, 30-40 minutes or so. Let's see if I can get some productivity accomplished here. And like I said, get a start on our superstructure. Here's our first 4 pieces of the superstructure put together. This is a very, very complex assembly. I don't know how many parts there are total putting this together, but it's a lot. I'll give you a total later. And those slopey bits there, those are the stairs. And it's probably not going to show well on this camera, but you can actually see the individual steps. So, some really quite nice mold making there, Ravel. We're only 2 steps into the superstructure, and you can see how complicated the whole assembly is. Basically, we're going floor by floor, and that's mostly so that we can do the various decks on the outside. Otherwise, you could do it just as a big square. The fit is very precise so far. Well, it's time for bed, and I'm only about halfway done this fiendish thingy. So, I guess I better shut off the lights and get some sleep. It's the next day, and it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. Worked all last night. Slept during the morning and afternoon, and I'm going to put in another probably 40 minutes on this, have supper, and work on a little bit more after supper. But as you can see, it's turning into something substantial, and it fits on the hull thusly. Alright, let's keep working. Like Spaceball 1 keeps getting longer, the superstructure keeps getting taller. You can see I still don't even have the bridge enclosure here on the top yet, but this is really quite intricate. And this piece right here is actually a crane, believe it or not. On the real ship, it would slide along a rail, and when it slid to one side or the other, it would be protruding over the side of the ship and would be used for hauling supplies up on the ship. There we go, that's better. So anyway, that can slide from side to side on an overhead rail, and then, when it's protruding off the side. So it's basically a very low profile crane that can be slid from side to side. It's very compact. Here's all of our exhaust trunking installed in the stack. And unlike the old the old steamships where this was just one big large tube, the stack nowadays is a structure which a bunch of smaller pipes come up. Because of course you've got the main engine, and then you've got several generators and backups and other systems that all exhaust out here on the top. So the superstructure is almost done. What's left to be put on it is basically some antennae, some very small cranes. I think there's a small boat to go on one side here, but I'm going to pause the assembly because there's a few seams that I want to clean up and add a little bit of filler to. But given how complex this thing is, went together a dream. It was really quite fun putting this together. I think there's more parts in the Superstructure than there is on the hull of the ship. So this is certainly part of the ship I did enjoy putting it together. So my plan is I'm just going to add a little bit of, why won't you focus? There we go. Yeah, there's a few areas that I want to add a little bit of filler to, do a little bit of filing and scraping to, just to improve this, because this is going to be a bright white color when we're done. So, alrighty. So all of my assembly, except for the ship's boat, which is supposed to go here, is complete on the Superstructure. So this is 41 parts, 41 separate pieces, which you could see if the camera would focus on it. There we go. I'm using a different camera and I'm not real happy with it, but my previous one broke. So anyway, this is what 41 pieces looks like on this kit. So this is going to be given a coat of gloss white paint, and then the decking is going to be picked out. I believe it's in green and black. So, anywho, that part is done. One assembly I had left off earlier is right here. And once again, if we could get the camera to focus on it. There we go. That little framework there is where the main lifeboat perches. It's one of these lifeboats that's just kind of held ready to be slid off the stern of the ship in the case of an emergency. Anyways, you can see the lifeboat itself is not there. I left this off because I didn't want it to get knocked off while I was painting the hull. And the lifeboat itself is located underneath my finger right there. So there's the lifeboat right there. And I'm not putting it on yet because I want to paint it separately. It's going to be orange. We know how difficult it is to paint orange. So yeah, this is the end of part 1 of our build of the Colombo Express, Ravel's container ship. And most of the work next time is going to be on all of the containers and all of the painting. I feel that there's definitely things that Ravel could have done to make doing a realistic container load much easier that they didn't do. But, oh well, it's better than no container ship at all. So, thanks for watching, and until next time, just keep on modeling.